Hello, my YouTube friends. So I keep getting this same objection. I've had it many times over the years about the decline, the testosterone decline specifically. It's been said many times that people decline at 1% per year from age 30 onwards. It's actually a bit more aggressive than that. Most people in 2025, at least, they're declining at 1.3% per year from age 30 onwards. And so the objection becomes, don't we all become low testosterone eventually? Like what? Like what's the point in trying? Is the underlying message. It's all well and good for you. You're young, and I'm like, I'm 30. I'm not that young anymore. Or if you're 18 years old, like it's easy to be high testosterone. I'm 55, and it's a lot harder for me. And yeah, it's true. This is if you're looking at the statistics for the average person. The average person just slowly gains weight over time. They don't train legs at all. They eat junk food. They don't put any effort into the testosterone lifestyle. If you follow my stuff, it's completely different, and the average statistics don't really apply that much anymore. But you'll hit a certain level, and no matter who you are, you're going to decline to some degree as you get older. But there's something a little bit concerning about the unwritten message here. The unspoken, unwritten message being, what's the point in trying? It's like, yeah, one day I'm going to get to the point where I've got man boobs, my you know what doesn't work, I've not had morning wood in years, I've got social anxiety, no drive for life or work or anything. So what's the point in trying anything? The end is inevitable. Let's just lie down and accept it and accept my fate, my, you know, horrendous future. And for me, that's a little bit crazy because, at least from my perspective, I'm going to live for another 50 plus years with technology and healthcare and stuff and advances and all this stuff. It could be a lot longer than that. If you're 50, you've got at least another 30 years if you do things right. That's quite a long time span to be spent miserable. If you know what's not working and you're skinny fat and you've got health problems and all that, that's a lot of pain coming your way if you don't do something about it. I would rather be very, very happy and have lots of energy, have it working perfectly well, have a really good physique, a masculine physique, a V-taper, stuff like that. Lots of drive, lots of energy, enjoying pursuing certain goals. And so if I'm the average 30-year-old with 500 testosterone or so, and I'm declining at 1.3% per year, so the average, that's going to be really difficult. It's going to be impossible actually to achieve that, or at least impossible to achieve it for 50 years. Because running those numbers, so 500 testosterone, declining at 1.3% per year, running those numbers, I've got them here, so this is why I keep looking. I would be crossing below the danger zone, which is 350 testosterone, generally speaking. Once you cross below 350, you're just facing problems, just left, right, and center. Your life gets worse every single time. So many dudes will confirm this for you. I would be crossing below that threshold at 58. Now, if I started gaining loads of weight or doing something, taking certain things that would accelerate that process, it'll happen a lot sooner than that. This is assuming I can sort of take care of myself at least a little bit and I'm not a complete idiot, which is a big assumption for a lot of people out there these days. But let's go with the number 58 years old. That's when your drive just completely disappears. This is when you're going to need things like Viagra. You're going to need Cialis. This is when you're going to need. You better be retired because you're not achieving anything in your career at this point. You better have millions in the bank by this point, and then set your kids up and set up everyone else for life. Because unless you do something about that, your life, you're not going to improve at anything. It's just going rapidly downhill at that point. And to me, that just doesn't look like a good life. It looks pretty unappealing, unappealing. And so there's a huge difference between that, and then let's take another scenario, which is more or less me now. You start out at 1,000 testosterone, and you don't have to be this high. 800 would also work, but let's call it 800 to make it more believable. 800 testosterone, so substantially higher starting point, and then you only decline because you're following all the natural testosterone lifestyle stuff. You only decline at 0.7% per year instead of 1.3%. So you're still declining. You're a human and you're getting older. Everyone declines eventually. But if you're actually taking action with this stuff, you're eating organ meats, your body fat percentage is always 15% or lower. You're training legs very hard, you're getting plenty of sun, you're optimizing your sleep as much as you can, stress levels. You're actually really trying, you're putting some real effort in. You're going to decline a lot slower. So running these same numbers from a higher starting point and a slower decline instead of a lower starting point and a much faster decline, running these numbers, you would not cross under the 350 testosterone level ever. You would never cross below that threshold. If you do, you're going to be in your late 80s or 90s or hundreds, depending on technology and how far things advance, which is impossible to say right now because none of us can predict the future. But by the time that would happen, you would be in your 90s by the looks of things. At that point, you are very, very, very old. You probably don't care about whether or not you get morning wood. It's a different thing when you're 92 compared to being 50 something. At 50 something, you probably are very much invested in having good physical activities, having some energy so you can travel or play with grandkids or kids or whatever. Like, these things still matter a lot. If you're in your 90s, it's different. So if you ever cross under that threshold, you're in your 90s at that point. And if you're in your 70s, 80s, 90s, that's when I'm not averse to TRT. Things are different then. But if you're in your 50s, or God forbid, your 40s or 30s, and you're crossing under that red line, that danger zone, man, something's gone wrong. You've got to do something to get yourself out of that zone. You're not going to do well in business or career or develop an amazing physique on 300 testosterone. It's just not enough. And also, if you're natural and you have 300 or less, I promise you, people talk theory all this time. I've never seen this in the real world. Your free testosterone is not exactly going to be 7% or something ridiculous. And your androgen receptor density is not going to be super high. It's not how it works. If you've got 600 or 700, you can have these things that can really offset what is technically not the ideal total level, 800 to 1200. If you're 300 or something, and you're a relatively young man, I guarantee the other things, the free, the DHT, the androgen receptor sensitivity, these things are going to be off as well, because they're kind of very closely connected to the same things that caused your total to not be high enough in the first place. So just thought I'd mention that. So if you do the testosterone lifestyle, as I kind of suggest, not only is your starting point higher, but your rate of... so this is once you've kind of maximized your potential, of course. Your starting point is higher and your rate of decline is much, much slower and shallower. And so you maintain it for a longer period of time. And so you maintain the physique, the energy, the performance in just about every realm of masculine life, I suppose you'd call it. You could be in your 80s and still be able to play with grandkids, for example, which is unusual at that age. It's a superior life. It's just not even comparable. Instead of throwing your hands up in the air and acting as if there's nothing you can do and it's natural to just decline into absolute nothingness. There's nothing natural about it though these days. The water's different, the food quality's worse, everyone's fatter than ever before, people are more stressed out, we're hunched over laptops all day, trying to do the natural thing, trying to argue that it's natural to decline, so just accept it, is silly, because the decline is far more aggressive than it's ever been in human history. And the starting point is lower than it's ever been in human history. I've written blog posts on this before. Men in World War II, it was normal to be 1,000. It was nothing shocking. Whereas now, it's pretty unusual to be 1,000. It's a very, very different world we live in. So, yeah, this is assuming you follow the testosterone lifestyle, you put in the effort naturally. Training legs, for example, is extremely important. Most people don't do it, or if they do it, they do it very haphazardly. It's all over the place, once a month, and then skipping leg day and stuff like that. If you are interested in more testosterone training tips, and you want to take this seriously, get to 800 plus naturally, check out this video. I talk about mostly about leg training and exactly how to do that, so that you can be as high as possible and your decline is as slow as possible. Check out that video. I'll see you there.